Good morning. Let's get this press conference started. Hi, everyone. I'm London Breed, Mayor of the City and County of San Francisco, and also resident of Lower Haight. So welcome to the Lower Haight, everybody. I'm here with Zara, who is the owner of Cafe International, which is really an important legacy business that really holds this community together, and your supervisor, Vallie Brown. You know, this cafe is one of the small businesses around our city that are more than just a small business. They are spaces for our neighbors to gather across close-knit communities. They're where our young people get their first job opportunities, and they're an important part of our workforce. And as I said, they are where Zara, the owner of Cafe International and an immigrant from Eritrea, can create new opportunities for themselves and countless employees. While we know that small businesses in San Francisco employ more than 350,000 people and make up 95% of our businesses and generates millions of dollars for our economy, what I love most about our small businesses is the opportunities that they create for the people. The opportunity to grow a community, to grow our skills, and to grow our future. That is why I am committed to helping small businesses succeed in San Francisco, so these opportunities are available for generations to come. Since I took office, we've been meeting with small business owners from across our city, from here in my home district of the Western Addition, Lower Haight neighborhood, out to the Excelsior. And we've hosted roundtable meetings with small business forums to provide spaces where businesses can talk about their concerns and their challenges. And so today, I'm so excited to announce that we are working to make it easier for small businesses to not only survive in San Francisco, but to thrive in San Francisco. That's what today's announcement is all about. It's not for people to just open and run their businesses, but for people to find employment at small businesses and for small business owners and employees to have a seat at the table when we are making the decisions about our budget investments. First, let's take a step back and think about what it means to start a small business in San Francisco. I hear from people all the time what a great ideas and new innovations and things that they want to do, and then they're confronted with bureaucracy at City Hall. It is such an incredible challenge. Now, San Francisco has loan programs in place to help people through our Office of Economic and Workforce Development. We've issued more than $20 million in loans with 94% repayment rate, which is absolutely incredible. These loans have estimated to create 1,300 jobs. This includes our revolving loan fund. The fund provides low-interest loans with flexible terms and support for small businesses that help to keep them stable and to help them grow. With my proposed budget, we are adding an additional $1 million to this incredible program. This funding will support city-sponsored small business loans that will help more small businesses get up and running and create more job opportunities. And finally, as our small businesses grow and thrive, sometimes they need key improvements. One like we were able to do right here at Cafe International, which is now ADA accessible, and I am so excited about that. Even though people have always found a way to get in there, to get their coffee and their snacks, regardless of the barriers that existed, but heck, why not make it easier? So part of our investments will include new things like awnings and doors and windows and upgrades to interiors, new equipment or improvements to make businesses ADA compliant so that people with disabilities can access those businesses easily. Through our Invest in Neighborhoods and SF Shines program, we help businesses cover some of the costs to make these upgrades, because when our businesses shine, our communities shine. That's why I am committed to providing an additional, in this year's budget, $2 million to support our SF Shines program. This is with specific focuses in the Excelsior, the Bayview, the Lower Fillmore, and right here on Haight Street. We know that when we make small business investments that our community succeeds. So let's say you open a business and you go through the registration process, and many of your small business owners have told me of these experiences, as I have said before, and only to have the doors shut in your face because of what you did or didn't have. And suddenly you're told that you need to pay hundreds of dollars for a permit or a fee that you didn't even know existed. If you're a small business owner, raise your hand if you've encountered that. Exactly. Like for a permit for cash registered, if those registers weighs measured for a permit for the fire department, a permit for who knows what else, and we know that we have had a number of challenges. And I want to be clear that these fees that the city charges is not intended to make doing business in San Francisco harder, but we know that that is something that we need to address. And so I was really determined with what I heard from small businesses to eliminate all city fees, but my staff wouldn't let me do it. They told me it took process, legislation, and all this other crap. So instead, until we can basically do the reports, do some more investigation, determine what is needed and what isn't, in the meantime, I am allocating in this year's budget $2 million in funding for relief for small businesses, for refunds for some of those fees that we know are challenging for people to do business. With our proposal, we estimate that more than 8,000 businesses, almost 9,000 businesses, will qualify for some sort of reimbursement for certain fees that have really impacted our small businesses. And it may seem like a small amount, but it will make a difference in our ability to allow small businesses to have the kind of support that they truly deserve until we can eliminate the fees. So when I think back of growing up in San Francisco, I remember just really the small businesses. I still go to the same dry cleaner that I've been going to since I could even afford a dry cleaner. I'm still going to the same nail shop and the person who does my hair, my same dentist since I've had teeth. And when I think about San Francisco, what I want to protect is really what makes us a special and diverse city. It's our neighborhoods. It's our small businesses. It's like knowing that you can go to Zara and she can basically give you advice on how to take care of your kids, how to discipline your kids, how to take care of your mom, and give you a cup of coffee at the same time. That's what this is about, and protecting these businesses are so important. We also are going to invest an additional $4 million in grants for small businesses. Grants to provide additional support for small business and nonprofits that want to relocate in places where we have a number of vacant storefronts. Because we know that's another challenge that exists in our communities, where you know that there are vacant storefronts and there's difficulty in accessing those storefronts. We have to do more, as I said, to make the kinds of investments that not only provide, the support and get rid of the layers of bureaucracy that we know get in the way of small businesses, but we also have to provide the financial investments that are going to help businesses get into business but also stay into business. These are some of the largest investments ever made in this city to support our small business community, and we still know that there's more work that we can do to better improve what is happening in San Francisco, especially when we make decisions, when we make policy decisions, and unfortunately sometimes lose the small businesses because of those bad policy decisions. As we work through the bureaucracy, as we work through making the kinds of changes that are going to make things better for small businesses, this is a first step towards demonstrating that we are committed to supporting our small business community, and we are here to hear feedback and other ways in which these programs are working and making a difference in your communities. And of course, there's still more that we know we need to do, but this is the beginning of what I think is a bright and prosperous future for our small businesses in San Francisco. And I want to thank all of you for being here today. And someone who has been an incredible small business champion on the Board of Supervisors, who's working on legislation around vacancy controls, who's working on making sure that we have opportunities to have more legacy businesses and funding for those legacy businesses, which is equally important, is a committed former resident of Lower Haight, but now living in another part of D5, but you all remember her because she used to pick up trash in front of your businesses along Haight Street. That's why we know and we love Vallie Brown, because of her commitment to the residents of District 5. Ladies and gentlemen, your Supervisor Vallie Brown.
Thank you, Mayor Breed, and I really appreciate everything that you're doing, giving the funding forward so we can actually address these issues. I guess the crap that you're talking about is me. I'm going to have to legislate things to get that done. But I really feel that in these times when small businesses are struggling, and that's throughout the city needs to step up and do better. We need to make sure that streamlining, when people get in, try to open a business, it doesn't take them a year and a half to pay rent and then open a business. That's not, shouldn't happen. Also, if they want to have a couple of businesses able to go into one bigger space, that should be easy for them. We need to make it easy. In these times when we have Amazon and all of the other home deliveries, we need to make it easy for businesses to not only survive, but to prosper. And this was personal for me because, yes, I lived in the Lower Haight for 20 years. It is my heart. And I have to tell you, at Cafe International, over 15 years ago, in the patio, that's where we started the first neighborhood association in Lower Haight. We also started the first merchants association in the Lower Haight. We argued about how many trees should we plant and how many bar crawls should we have to get the money to plant the trees. And in all of this, the merchants were there. The merchants came forward with the residents and said, your priorities are our priorities. The Whole Foods across the street, that's the original Whole Foods, everybody. Oh, yes, here we are, okay. So, yes, Mike's Barbershop's been there since the 60s. Zahara and Cafe International, 27 years has she been serving coffee to the neighbors, giving them advice, but also listening to their issues. And Rookie Records, Two Jacks, from 20 years plus, Two Jacks from the 70s. I mean, this is the kind of businesses that we want and that we crave. When I say to my friends, hey, let's meet for coffee or dinner, I don't say come to my house. I say we're meeting in the corridors. These corridors are an extension of our living rooms. They're an extension of our homes. And when I go out, I want to be somewhere where I feel like it's home, where I can talk to Mike at the barbershop or Zahara or Dick from Rookie Records at his latest mixtape. I can't imagine not being able to go out my front door and go to a store that I love or a cafe that I love and that I can meet my friends. So I'm here today to say, all of us, we weave ourselves in the fabrics of these neighborhoods, and we need to support our merchant corridors because they are part of our home. And I want to just say, I know you're nervous, but I told her, just pretend she's behind the counter, giving advice and speak from the heart. So I want to thank everyone here today, and I, as your supervisor, will be working on these creative ways, legislating them to make it easier for merchants and to make sure our corridors thrive. Thank you. Yes, I'm going to introduce her because she has given me many times advice. Most of the time, it's perfect advice. And even though I moved from Lower Haight to Upper Haight, I still come in here and after a busy day and sit there and just say, Zahara, tell me what's real. So I'm going to have you tell her what's real right now. And your beautiful cafe after the renovation, it is amazing. So I want you to come up and tell it from the heart. Thank you. Zahara.
Thank you, Mayor Breed and Supervisor Brown, for the introduction and for coming to Cafe International for this very important announcement. Through the Mayor and Supervisor Vallie and the Office of Economic and Workforce Development, Cafe International has received a lot of money. Our beautiful interior and exterior have helped with the San Francisco Shine grants. More money. Cafe International is not only a restaurant, but also a community hub. With the help and support in the city and the mayor, we can continue to serve our community and keep the hate healthy and vibrant. Mayor Breed, thank you. Supervisor Vallie Brown, thank you for all your support. These two people saved the cafe. Thank you. And thank you, everybody. And come and get coffee.
And now we're going to have comments from Mario McGanum, who is the president of the District Council of Merchants.
Good afternoon, everybody, and Mayor Breed, thank you very much for having me speak here, and Supervisor Vallie Brown, thank you for all you've done for this neighborhood. Haight Street was kind of my stomping grounds when I was younger, and I'm also proud to say, as president of the Council of District Merchants, that Lower Haight Merchants Association is a member of the council, as well as Upper Haight is. The council stands to represent those that are underrepresented. As the mayor had said earlier, small businesses have been struggling, but that doesn't mean we're down and out. You know, we're not looking for a handout, but we do need to help up. When times are tough, communities have to get together, and we all have to help each other. I commend the mayor on, first of all, having that round table that you had a few weeks ago. She gathered many of us business people together, and she heard us speak. Not only did she hear us, but she listened. But not only did we give her our complaints and our concerns, but we also told her what things we contributed to the community as small business merchants. It's a symbiotic relationship. Small businesses, where would we be without the neighbors and the customers? Likewise, too, where would the neighbors and the residents be without small business commercial corridors? I mean, we pretty much define the neighborhoods. Most of us adopt our names based on our commercial corridor. So that's something that is precious to us. It's unique to us. And if it's anything else other than that, then we just become a suburb, and we're no longer this unique city called San Francisco, which is one of the most desirable cities in the world. So on that note, I'd also like to say that I commend the mayor for not just listening to our needs, but responding to them. When it comes to the Shines program, when it comes to the revolving fund, and also the assistance with fees, sincerely, Mayor Brown, I thank you, because we were heard. It was a gesture. I hope it was just a start, and I hope if you need any help with that legislation on eliminating city fees, I've got your back on that too. But the fact that we were heard, the fact that someone acknowledged that, wow, there is a problem, maybe we need a little bit of help, goes a long ways. I'm one of those people that says dialogue is messy, but it's often necessary. But also after that dialogue, we need some action and we need some follow-up. I mean, it is. It's a symbiotic relationship. We all float together. We all sink together. But it's important that at least we're heard, and now we look forward to working together, not one side versus the other, but actually as one team holding hands and walking through this process together, because it does take a village. On that note, I kind of laughed when I heard about Zahara's story, because I too am an immigrant. I beat her here by about 25 years, and I've acclimated quite well. But I walked up and I started chatting with her, and she started chatting with me in Arabic. And of course, her Arabic was much better than mine. But what really got to me was when the mayor had mentioned that you'd come over there and she'd start to give advice. Because 35 years ago, that was my mom in her little corner grocery store, that immigrant widow with 5 kids. And she'd be sitting there giving a lot of these guys advice on how to run their marriages, their households and everything. And a couple of them were esteemed attorneys and appointed judges on the federal court circuit. So it was kind of funny to see where some of our leaders know where to get their best advice. Note to you, Zahara. On that note, thank you very much. Thank you for having me, and I'll look forward to working with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Again, thank you everyone for being here. I also want to take the opportunity to acknowledge the new head of the San Francisco Chamber of Commerce, Rodney Fong. Thank you for joining us here today, because it has to be about protecting and supporting our small business community, so we are all working together to do that. All right, now that we're wrapping this up, a couple of things. Get your food and your coffee from Cafe International before you go back to work. If you need a haircut, Mike's will take care of you across the street. If you need groceries, you can go to Whole Foods Company, which is a local grocery-owned place, and you'll take care of their needs. Everything you need before you go back to work or you go home is right here in the Lower Haight at these incredible small businesses, usually staffed by the people who actually own them and work day in and day out to take care of the people of this community. So again, that's why we have to take care of them and make the right investments in our small businesses all over the city and county of San Francisco, so they can not only survive, they can thrive, and we can be the city that we truly know how to be. Thank you all so much for being here today.